Good morning and welcome to a small harvest video. It's actually the end of the season for me, and I'm going to be probably ripping up all these beds and amending the soil, getting ready for the fall garden. But I went out to get some eggs this morning with my little helper, Aaliyah, who is strapped to me, and saw that there were plenty of green beans left, still growing on the trellis. So I went ahead and harvested what I could see um, before I pull everything out. And I got a pretty good amount. So hopefully I can make some green beans or at least can some today. I wanted to show you this. So these are some green beans that I had missed at some point. And as you can see, the seeds on the inside are really big now. So what I'm going to do is let them sit on this plant until I pull it out. Hopefully it'll dry in time so I can harvest those seeds, because I don't have any more of this particular green bean and I really like them. So as you can see, everything's looking pretty bare, the trellises and the beds. I've already started pulling things up because, like I said, it's the end of the season and it's time to start working on the fall garden. But I sure am going to miss all the greenery hanging from the trellises when I had cucumbers and now these green beans, which these are more of summer things. So I'm harvesting my little okra. A little bit about these plants. I planted 4, and unfortunately I planted them at the wrong time because my cucumbers took off before the okra, and the leaves shadowed over the okra plants for quite some time, and the okra plants got really leggy but didn't produce anything. And then once I pulled up the cucumbers, then I started getting these little pods there. So I get about 1 or 2 a day, which I've just been eating raw because I don't get enough to actually do anything with. But this is just another learning experience. I'm also going ahead and getting last few tomatoes off of these plants. I pulled up most of them, but these had a few fruits left that I wanted to ripen before I pulled them up. And then I have a green bell pepper down at the end. That green bell pepper is like the last pepper on that pepper plant. The storm knocked that plant over. My daughter's trying to get a good shot, but not doing very good of a job. But I am waiting for that to get maybe a little bit bigger if it warms up enough to do so. And then around the other side, I have some jalapenos, which I want to show you. This jalapeno plant just exploded. At one point, I was getting about 10 jalapenos a day off of this one plant. Not every day, but probably, at least twice a week. And then I have 2 other jalapeno plants I'm going to try to find to show you. But I do want to make some cowboy candy before this season is over. This is also a Cubanelle pepper plant that I have, and that has plenty of fruits on it. I'm trying to let get to full size, and the picture on the packet said that it'll also turn red, so I'll see if I can keep them on as long as possible, but I don't know if it's gonna get warm enough. On to the melons. So these are my sugar baby watermelons, and unfortunately the melon bed did not do the greatest this year, but this is a ripe melon, even though it's pretty small, so I'm going to go ahead and harvest this one. This is probably going to be one of the last ones. I maybe have like 3 or 4 more that we can get before I rip everything out. I already started ripping some out of this one as well. It's kind of small, but that's just because all the nutrients kind of got spread thin with the last few melons. But the bigger ones were the ones we harvested earlier. I also have some cantaloupe, but they aren't ready yet either. So I'm going to just leave them right there. So we got quite a decent harvest. I got some eggs, of course, from the chickens. I got about 11 eggs, some tomatoes, green beans. I have some green beans that I got yesterday that I'm going to put with these, and I think I'm going to have enough to cook. and a little bitty sugar baby. This is actually really good for this time of the year, just because it's actually cool. I don't know the exact temperature. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen, but it feels like it's in its 60s. It's kind of cool today, or this morning. It may just be the wind that I feel, but it's definitely not hot. And it's been raining for 7 days. We actually had flooding a couple of days. So I'm probably going to pull up the tomatoes, which is why I went ahead and picked these tomatoes, because I don't normally do it if it rained that much. I wanted to dry up a little bit so the sugars could be a little bit more concentrated, but I'm going to pull these things up probably this weekend because it's getting cool and it's time for me to amend the soil for my fall garden. The Sugar Baby watermelon, this is one of the smaller ones that I've gotten. I've gotten them a little bit bigger, but I planted so many, and we've eaten probably about 5 or 6 of them off of that trellis. And I still have about 4 more on there. So considering the small amount of space that I have, I did pretty good with that, because really the nutrients in that bed, because I also planted cantaloupe and honeydew. I was very disappointed with my cantaloupe and honeydew. The honeydew didn't produce a whole lot. It produced like 2 fruits, and one of them rotted because I guess the bugs got to that one, and the other one got really, really big, and it was on the ground, so I couldn't, and it was tangled up, so I couldn't tell if it was ripe because it was really big, and I cut into it and it was not ripe, and I was so devastated. That was the honeydew. The cantaloupe, I got a lot of cantaloupe fruit, and we ate 3, and then all the rest of them, it was probably about 5 of them that the bugs got into, which is crazy because their husk is a lot more tough, I would think, because it's like rigid and stuff. However, whatever, the bugs got into them, and I went to go harvest like 4 of them because they were ripe and ready, and I was so excited, and then it just had bugs all of them. I wish I didn't have my camera or my phone, so I couldn't take any pictures of them. I just went ahead and composted most of it. I gave some to the chickens. It's devastating. But the watermelon, the Sugar Baby watermelons did really good, because even when they didn't get big, they were still ripe and very tasty. I don't know how this one's going to taste because, again, it rains so much, so the sugar is definitely not concentrated, but I'm pulling up that bed too because that bed has a whole bunch of sickness. I'm going to try and do some different things next year. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you, but it has a lot of sickness. So it's just time to pull it up. I'm not expecting anything else off of it. I have 3 cantaloupes that may possibly ripen, maybe not. I have about 4 Sugar Babies, may ripen. Not sure. The tendrils are not dried up close by, so I'll let them stay as long as possible. Good thing is they're on the same trellis, so I have 3 trellises in this bed, and that's what I'm probably going to change. I'll probably only do 2 trellises, and I'll plant less of each melon. And I'll be able to weed it better. I couldn't weed it. Number one, I was like pregnant with her and her sister, and the trellises are so close together that I could not get in there. See how close that is? There was just no way I could get in there before it started to get out of control. Then once I had them, I could have gotten in there if I had tied up all the stuff that was just everywhere, but by that time it was just all overgrown and it just wasn't going to work. So unfortunately we didn't get as many melons as I would have liked, but I believe if I would have planted less plants, I possibly would have gotten more melons, just because of the nutrients in the ground. But gardening is a learning process, and I am grateful for that experience, because this is my little garden. This is just a little garden. A lot of stuff I've already pulled up, so it looks bare. My peppers. Peppers did really good this year. I got a lot of peppers. Now I probably will do a little bit better with organizing my peppers as well, but I had some mishaps during the pregnancy that caused me to just throw things in wherever they could fit. But this is just my little garden, and I'm grateful for the learning experience that I'm having, because I'm telling you, when I get my acres and I have, 5 times as much planted, the experiences of losing things and things not working out and knowing what I did wrong will definitely come in handy, because to lose a little bit versus to lose a lot, it's worth it. So I encourage anyone who is thinking about starting a small garden in their backyard, go ahead and start it. And I have that service I told y'all about in the last video, where I'll come and help you build your garden beds and your trellises, and even a compost bin if you want. We can map out the garden that you want in your backyard. But thanks for coming out with us, harvesting some veggies and collecting some eggs. I didn't get the egg collecting part because I was so scared it's so muddy. I did not want to fall with baby, the phone, the eggs. So I left the camera out of that, but yeah. Thanks for joining us on this small garden harvest at the middle of August when it's 60-something degrees. Until next time.